Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first annual Christmas special from Who Did That Voice? I am your host, Trenton Larkin, and I am so happy that you could join us for my original production and presentation of The Christmas Wish. Now, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Hello there. My name is Jasper Weatherby. I'm here to tell you the story of a 9-year-old boy by the name of Clark, who's lost a precious thing, his belief in the magic of Christmas. Our story begins 1 year ago, the day before Christmas Eve. Will Clark's hope and faith be renewed in time for Christmas? Let's listen in and find out.
Home sweet home. A sanctuary holding the joys of the season.
Let's see. I can go there. Oh, George! I am so glad you are home. Tell me, were you able to find a Christmas tree?
I sure did. It's out on the porch, and it's a beauty. Here, honey, let me help you with that box of decorations. Yeah, I'll just set it over in the corner here.
Aw, thank you, dear.
How about a welcome home kiss? So, why isn't Clark helping you out?
You will have to ask him yourself. I sure don't know.
Uh-oh. What do you mean?
It means I can't believe the way Clark has been acting lately.
I think he must be having a rough time adjusting to our new lives.
You know, I wish he would just talk about whatever it is that is bothering him. I know he didn't want to move here, but he says everything is fine here and at school. When I ask, he just seems so detached from everything lately. I can't even recall the last time I heard Clark laugh.
I should probably contact his teacher. Let me see here. And there. Wow, she responds fast. Let's see. Okay, Mary. Mrs. Lang says that Clark shows all the classic signs of being an introvert.
But Clark is not an introvert.
Well, you're right, Mary. He's the friendliest kid I've ever known. Where is he now?
He's in his room.
Oh, yeah, most likely playing on his PlayStation 4, I would imagine. Instead of being outside, running around with the neighbor's dogs, or over next door talking to old man Hanson.
Yes, George, you have made your point. Although I don't understand why Clark talks so much to Mr. Hanson. He completely ignores his neighbors when they greet him. He hasn't even had the courtesy to call and thank me for the cookies I baked and sent over.
And Mrs. Lang said that Mr. Hanson became a recluse when his wife died a couple of years ago. Clark must bring out something in him. I've seen the two of them chatting away many times.
Which shows that Clark isn't shy or introverted. He always made friends easily before we moved here.
Well, it's easier to be social at a school where you've always known everyone from the start, but it's hard to be the new kid at school when you don't know anyone.
And living in a neighborhood with no elementary-age children to speak of doesn't help either. Huh. You know, thinking about it, Clark and Mr. Hanson both had a life-changing event. Maybe that's why they get along so well.
Well, Mrs. Lang suggests that we try to find some common interest for Clark with the other kids at school. She says he spends all his time alone, reading or drawing. She thinks that he ought to get involved with sports as a way to become more active with the other kids. She said she'll get us a list of after-school programs and teams once Clark returns to school after the Christmas break.
So not only is he an introvert, he's a nerd.
That is not what she said.
I know, I'm sorry. Look, I know Miss Lang means well. If Clark decides he would like to play sports, that would be great. He could also meet people by joining an art club or some other club that features his interests.
A good thought. Let's look into both of those options when school resumes.
Honestly, what worries me most, George, is that Clark seems to have an unwillingness to do anything having to do with Christmas.
Yeah, I had noticed he isn't into decking the halls this year or consuming the usual amounts of eggnog and sugar. Oh, by this time each year he's usually bouncing off the walls with Christmas cheer.
Clark didn't even go with you to get the tree. He didn't even want to bring any treats for the class Christmas party last week. I had to practically force them on him.
You know, come to think of it, Mary, I never got Clark's letter and list for Santa.
He hasn't rearranged the nativity scene or sung any carols. He's even been changing the TV channels when his most beloved Christmas specials have come on. I don't know what happened, but Clark has lost his belief in the magic of Christmas.
Oh, this is not good. Not good at all.
George, this is more than not good. It's downright sad. I think I'm going to cry. We have to find a way to rekindle Clark's belief in the magic of Christmas. And now what are you thinking?
I'm thinking it's highly ironic that two people named for the main characters in It's a Wonderful Life would be facing this dilemma.
Yes, it is most ironic.
Mary, we knew this day would come. He's younger than I was, but his need is no less urgent than mine was.
George, are you saying? Do you mean...
Yes, Mary. It's time he found out about his inheritance. It's time he knew about the Christmas wish.
I believe in you, George.
Why do I hear a but in that endorsement?
Well, if you recall, that story involves our romance, which is a thing that a 9-year-old boy doesn't think about or care to think about. And for the record, I'm perfectly fine with Clark thinking girls still have cooties.
Duly noted, dear. I'll go light on the romance angle. It's his belief in Christmas that's the most important thing.
Oh, I'm so excited. Now you go talk with Clark, and I'll go mix us all up some cookie dough.
The door is shut and locked. Didn't think this would happen until puberty. Sounds like he's talking to someone.
Who's there?
It's me, Dad. You have a moment, son?
Sure, Dad. Come on in.
Oh, you're lying down. Are you feeling okay?
Yeah, Dad, I'm okay. I was just thinking.
Well, there's nothing wrong with thinking.
Dad, am I in trouble?
No, Clark, not at all. It's vacation season. It's the day before Christmas Eve. There's even a 7-foot tree sitting out on the front porch, cookies to be frosted, and ornaments waiting to be unpacked.
I really just want to stay here in my room. Maybe later, okay, Dad?
Sure, son. You just think on what I said, okay? You know, Clark, actually, I'd really like to sit and talk to you for a bit, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure, Dad.
Do you think Mr. Bear minds if I move him next to you so I can sit in the rocker?
I can't mind, Dad. He's just a stuffed animal.
Are you sure about that, Clark?
Yeah, Dad, I'm pretty sure.
I don't know, Clark. Seems to me that Mr. Bear is smiling at you, and there's a twinkle in his eye. Don't tell me you don't see it.
He always smiles, Dad. The smile is sewn on, and the twinkles are from my table light, shining off his eyes.
But didn't I hear you talking to Mr. Bear before I came in?
I was talking to myself. I was just thinking out loud, Dad. It would be dumb if I was talking to an old stuffed bear.
Well, now, son, I don't think it's dumb. In fact, I have talked to Mr. Bear myself, many times.
Dad, I'm not a baby anymore, you know.
No, you're right, Clark. You're not a baby anymore. Which is why I'm going to share something very important with you. Do you remember how you got Mr. Bear?
It was yours, then you gave it to me the day I was born. It's my birth bear.
Did you know that it belonged to your grandfather? And his grandfather before him?
Wow, how many people have owned Mr. Bear? Mr. Bear is really, really old. I mean, a stuffed animal doesn't usually last that long or look this good.
Mr. Bear is what you'd call an heirloom, a family possession that has been treasured by the men in our family, and Mr. Bear has been handed down from generation to generation.
How nice, Dad. I'm glad I don't play with him anymore. That thing is ancient.
But Mr. Bear is sitting here with you. You haven't put him away. He's your inheritance, son, and those who came before us are happy he's with you now. Besides, he comes with a wish.
Wish? What do you mean he comes with a wish?
Well, son, Mr. Bear gives one wish to everyone who has owned him, including me. Now, there is a catch. This wish can only be made on Christmas Eve.
So I don't get it, Dad. How does this wish thing work? Did you just say it and it came true?
Actually, it's Mr. Bear that does it. He's the original Make-A-Wish bear. What's the most miraculous and magical time of the year? I think you know the answer to that, Clark.
Christmas time.
Exactly. That is why Mr. Bear is your inheritance. Just once, when you need him most, Mr. Bear will come to life and grant you a wish on Christmas Eve.
Whoa. Wait a second. A stuffed bear came to life and granted you a wish? What? But that means he talked. That means that he is magic.
It's true. Mr. Bear came to life on Christmas Eve. Mr. Bear told me he knew what my heart desired most in the world. And finally, as dawn approached, he told me that my wish had been granted and to go back to sleep. Well, I wasn't sure if my time with Mr. Bear had all been a fantastic dream or if it was real until your mother and her family showed up at my parents' front door on Christmas Eve night, singing carols to welcome us to our first day in our new neighborhood.
Are you sure that wouldn't have happened anyway?
Very sure. I remember the snow falling soft and heavy, and it was very cold, so we invited them in for some hot chocolate. When they came to the house, It's a Wonderful Life was playing on our TV, and I heard her mom say, "Oh, I love that movie. Do you know, we named our daughter Mary for Donna Reed's character." And my mother gushed that my name was George. And wasn't that just the loveliest coincidence ever? Your mother looked at me and smiled and rolled her eyes and mouthed, "Help me." That's when I knew my wish had come true, and I'd never be lonely again.
I still don't get how or why your wish worked, Dad.
You know, you've always been the just the facts kind of guy, haven't you, Clark? Mary's right. 9-year-olds do not appreciate romance.
Wait a minute, Dad. So you moved as a kid too? At Christmas time? I thought Grandma and Gramps always lived in that house.
We moved because of a fire at my father's business when I was 12. It was tough. I know what it's like to be the new kid on the block.
It isn't fair, Dad. The kids here think I'm weird, and no one likes me. I get picked on all the time.
I'm sorry to hear that, Clark. Kids your age can be really mean at times.
They're mean to anyone who doesn't think like them or act like them.
Your mother and I are always here if you need us, son.
I don't need help. They're just jerks. They say I'm lame for liking to read and draw and stupid for believing in Santa and being overexcited about kitty stuff. They would really let me have it if they heard about my magic teddy bear.
Well, if they're jerks, then why would you believe anything they say?
I don't know, Dad. Maybe I'm scared.
Of them?
No, that I will find out they are right.
Oh, Clark. Do you have faith in me, son?
Yes, Dad, I always have.
I know it's hard to believe what I've told you, but do you want to believe?
I think so. Yes, Dad, I do believe.
Good, because it's extremely important that you do believe.
I do have faith, Dad, and I believe in the magic of Christmas.
Good, Clark, because Christmas is the time you need faith, hope, and love more than any other time of the year, for they are the 3 elements that make the magic of the Christmas wish work. I'll leave you to think on what we've talked about. I hope you know that you can talk to your mom and me about anything, son. Anytime.
Yes, sir.
And Clark, while you're thinking, why not throw on your boots and jacket and come outside to look at the tree with me? I'd really like to get your opinion on it, and Mr. Bear looks like he could use some fresh air, too. Ooh, I smell your mother's Christmas cookies. Fresh out of the oven, I bet. You want me to grab you some?
Dad, it's too close to dinner time. Cookies are for dessert. Mom's gonna say no.
I have faith that she won't. Clark, why don't you head outside, and I'll be out shortly to join you.
Okay, sure, Dad. You know, Mr. Bear, I really do want to believe. I don't want to let Dad down, but what if the wish doesn't work for me? What do you think, Mr. Bear?
Huh? Dadgummit, what's Clark doing over there? Blasted thing, keeps getting worse. Won't even work when I actually want it to. Maybe if I adjust this. Aha! There we go. Hey, boy! What are you doing standing out here like a statue? You'll catch your death of cold.
Hey there, Mr. Hanson.
Doing an impression of a snowman, huh? Well, I gotta say, you're doing a mighty fine job of it. 2 eyes as dark as coal. Look at that. I can see your nose getting all orangey and carrot-like.
What? All right. Yeah, not really funny, Mr. Hanson.
Well, it ain't a joke. If you keep standing out here in the cold with no hat and gloves, you and that bear of yours will get nice and frosty soon enough.
I'll go in soon.
That's a nice-looking bear, by the way.
My dad says he's a treasured family heirloom.
I can tell. Very handsome. I like the bow tie. He's got fur on his head, too, which is more than I can say for you. Those ears of yours are growing icicles.
I'll be going in soon. I was just thinking about stuff. That's all. Stuff like, what kind of wishes would you make?
Fishes? Why are you thinking about fish?
Not fishes, wishes! If you could make a wish just for yourself, what would it be?
Well, that's a big question. All this talk about fish makes me realize I'm getting pretty hungry. So maybe I would just wish for a big Christmas salmon dinner with all the trimmings just for me.
That's all you'd ask for?
Yup. Don't take much to make me happy. Simple is my style.
But just for you, though. I mean, isn't Christmas dinner supposed to be with your family?
Maybe for some folks. Oh, don't go feeling sorry for me. They live far away, and it costs too much to get here, so it's just me.
Is that why you didn't get a tree?
Yep. Not worth fussing with for just one person.
Well, I think I figured out what to wish for.
A fancy top hat and scarf?
No, I'm not going to.
Stop right there! Don't tell me!
Why not?
The official rules for wishing say that if you tell someone the wish before you make it, it won't come true.
Ow! What is that awful sound?
Hearing aids been giving me a bit of trouble.
Ooh, that's gotta hurt. You need to get them fixed.
Yeah, it's not fun, but likely fixable. But it costs a bit much, so I'll have to save. I'll get by for now. Maybe ask Santa for some.
But adults don't believe in Santa. And neither do some kids.
You don't say. Well, I hope you're not one of them. As for adults, it's a sad state of affairs when anyone stops believing in the spirit of giving. That's a really fine-looking tree you got there, Clark. You going to help your folks put it up tonight and decorate it?
I wasn't going to, but now I think I will. Hey, my mom's making some Christmas cookies. Do you want to come in and have some?
No can do. Have to be on my way to the post office. Got to mail out a package overseas. Thanks for asking, though.
Then I'll save you some. Thanks for always listening to me, Mr. Hanson.
You're a good kid. Run along and have some of those cookies with your folks.
I will. See you later.
Clark, about those rules for wishing.
I know. Don't tell the wish before it's made.
Exactly. But if you're going to make a wish, you can't forget to follow the very first rule.
What's that?
Never give up hope. Without hope, everything is just wishful thinking.
I won't forget. See you later, Mr. Hanson.
And the lights are plugged in, and that does it. What do you think, Mary?
I think this is the most beautiful tree we've ever had, George.
You say that every year, Mom.
And she means it every year.
Well,
I even think Mr. Bear thinks it's pretty.
aw, he has excellent taste. May I see Mr. Bear for a moment, sweetheart?
Okay, what's wrong?
No, I just wanted to look at the stitching on the bottoms of his feet. I always thought it was decorative, but
Oh yes, I'd forgotten about that. It's the names.
But Macy, hey, there are a lot of them.
Yes, because this bear has a long history. Those are the first names of every person who's ever been an owner of Mr. Bear.
Everyone who's made a Christmas wish?
Yes.
Wow.
how did I never notice this before, George?
Well, Mary, it's an easy thing to overlook. Some say they are disguised.
Hey, your name is on it, Daddy.
Of course, I made a wish.
It came true because you met Mom, who was the only girl in the world who didn't have cooties.
How did you figure that out, son?
You kissed her and you got married. That's not going to happen with cooties.
Well, I can't argue with that logic. When the time is right, you'll find the one to kiss too.
No way! Gross!
That's my boy. Oh my goodness, look at the clock. Where did the time go? I hate to say this when we are having such a good time, but...
I know, Mom. Time for bed.
Not even one argument? Are you feeling okay, son?
I sure am, Dad.
I'm so happy to see that smile, Clark. I think Mr. Bear is too.
He's always smiling, Mom.
Well, that's because he's got you. Here's a hug from my good boy and his bear.
Oh, Mom.
All right. Hey, it's okay to hug me back. I don't have cooties, remember?
Come on, Bear. It's time for bed.
George, whatever you said to him was brilliant. Clark was all smiles tonight, and he was singing after supper. He even put a plate of cookies together to take over to Old Man Hanson tomorrow. We have our little boy back.
I sure hope it stays that way.
That isn't reassuring. What's troubling you?
To be honest, everything. As much as I hate to admit it, doubt is creeping in. Did I do the right thing? What if something goes wrong?
Oh, George. Really? What's the worst that could happen?
That if it doesn't come true, he'll fall apart? Think I'm a liar and be angry with me? That he'll never believe in the spirit of Christmas again? How can I live with that if that happens?
I'd say that whatever happens, love will win the day, and faith will ensure it will turn out for the best.
Your mother sure knew what she was doing when she named you.
There's no day during the year quite like the day before Christmas. For many, it's a time to renew their faith, to share their love of family and friends. Right now, Clark is snuggled up in his bed, trying not to fall asleep, while he talks of making his wish under the button-eyed stare of one Mr. Bear. Soon, he drifts off and is fast asleep.
Clark! Clark!
I'm awake. What's up, Dad?
This is always my favorite part.
Mr. Bear? No way. This can't be real. I'm dreaming.
Hey, that tickles. Mr. Bear at your service.
Oh my gosh. It's really happening. It's really you.
In the flesh. Well, more of an animated mixture of cotton and wool, but you get the point. Give us a paw.
While taking Mr. Bear's paw into his hand, Clark was amazed to feel real fur and noticed that a genuine warmth was coming from the bear's paw. He also noticed one of the brown button eyes twinkle as it closed in for a wink, and what he had thought was a stitched-on mouth pulled into a big old smile.
This is too cool. I can't believe it.
But you do. Believe, I mean. That's why I'm finally able to talk with you, Clark.
Can you actually hear me when I talk to you, Mr. Bear?
Oh, yes. Every word.
And now you can talk back to me because it's Christmas? And me believing in you?
You got it, kiddo. I know your dad filled you in earlier, which is good. Less of a shock that way. Do you have any other questions related to how this whole wish thing works?
Yes, I do have a question.
Oh, ask away. But first, let me say not to ask me if you can ask for more wishes. Please, I'm afraid that's a big no-no in the wishing department. And it comes with a penalty. I found that out the hard way when I was a novice and your great-great-great-great-grandfather made the same wish and I tried to grant it, only to find him in a giant pickle.
Grandpa got in trouble?
No, he was actually in a real pickle. A giant dill pickle, to be precise. And I had to dig him out before... Oh, sorry, I'm rambling. And this is a story better left untold anyways. What's your question, Clark?
I know you can make wishes come true, and I know what I want to wish for. But I was just wondering if you ever thought about what wish you would want to make, Mr. Bear.
That I'd make? Well, my goodness. In my entire existence, no one's ever asked me that question.
Really? That seems kind of rude.
It's all right, kiddo. I don't mind. You see, my wish gets granted every time I help other people's wishes come true. And that goes for you too, Clark.
I believe you will. But come on, isn't there anything you can think of that you'd wish for yourself?
Okay, maybe there is one thing.
Tell me.
I sometimes think having a real name would be kind of nice.
You don't like being called Mr. Bear?
No, that's not it. Not complaining at all. It's a good name. Mr. is a title, and Bear is, certainly what I am. But it's occurred to me that it would be nice if I had a name that's a bit more personal.
You mean like a first name?
Exactly. A first name chosen with care. A name that is picked out just for me and shows how special I am and that I belong to someone. Like Clark. That's a great name.
My parents meant well, but having Superman's secret identity for a name is another reason that the kids make fun of me for being a geek. I sometimes wish...
Well, some people would say being named after a superhero is cool, Clark. But if that's your wish, to change your name,
No, it's fine. That's not my wish.
I didn't think so. So what are you gonna wish for? It sure would be nice to have a friend your own age, wouldn't it, Clark?
That was what I was going to wish for, but then I thought of something else when I was talking to Mr. Hanson.
Oh? What was that?
I saw that he was really lonely this holiday season. And even though he is sad, he still tries to cheer me up. Then I thought, if I already have him and you as friends, and if I try harder, I can make more friends on my own. I have the power to help him like no one else can. And I want to make Mr. Hanson's Christmas one he'll never forget.
So you're saying...
Yes, I want to use my wish for him. Can I do that, Mr. Bear?
You're a good boy, Clark. I'm truly sorry my time with you is so short. But first things first, though. I want to make sure things are done properly. Take hold of my paw, close your eyes, and make your wish. Not out loud, remember. Just think about what you want to happen as hard as you can. And above all else, believe. Believe in the magic of Christmas.
I do believe.
Keep thinking. Don't let go of that thought. There. Your Christmas wish is made. Mind you, I can't tell you how it'll turn out. Against the rules, you know. But I can say this. A selfless wish is the most powerful wish you could have ever made. Well done, Clark.
Thank you, Mr. Bear. And thank you for always being my friend.
Okay, that does it. Give me a big hug, kiddo.
Will you stay with me as long as you can and tell me a story about the days of my great-great-grandfather?
Only if you promise not to fight falling asleep. Growing boys need their sleep.
All right, I don't want to be mushy or anything. But since I won't get to hear you after this and all, I love you very much, Mr. Bear.
Not bad for a pun. I love you too, kiddo. Settle in, and let's get to the story. Once upon a time, during Christmas time, back in the old country, there was a poor, struggling toy maker who needed a Christmas gift for his beloved son.
All right, let's see. Gifts are wrapped and under the tree. The side dishes for tomorrow are prepped. And I've got the bird sitting in the mudroom sink defrosting. Huh. Where did I put those candles for the table?
The candles are out on the coffee table. Oh, good morning, son. You're up early.
Morning. Is there any oatmeal, Mom?
Yes, with cinnamon and raisins just how you like it. Grab a chair, here's a bowl and a spoon, and the orange juice is on the table.
So, Clark, how'd it go last night? Did you have any trouble getting to sleep?
It went fine. I slept good.
Well, that's good, son. Did anything happen last night?
Hey, Dad, have you seen Mr. Hanson outside this morning?
No, not yet. Why do you ask? Oh, by the way, it snowed last night, and we need to clear the driveway. If you can help me, Clark, we'll do his driveway and the sidewalk, too.
He needs to finish his breakfast first, George.
Sure thing, Dad. What about the cookie plate?
It's right here, Clark. You can take it over after you eat. I tried calling Mr. Hanson last night, but he wasn't answering. I suppose he goes to bed early. You know what? Why don't you two ring his doorbell and ask him over for supper tonight?
Are you sure, dear? He's not a chatty, social kind of guy. Can even be kind of grouchy.
He's not grouchy, Dad. He talks to me plenty of times.
He has been good to our boy, George. No one should be alone at Christmas time. Invite him over for supper, and we will send the cookies and leftovers home with them afterwards.
Sounds great to me, Mom. So far, so good. I just hope we'll say yes.
You may be wondering, if Clark is inviting Mr. Hanson over for supper, will this fulfill his wish? Or is something else in store? Let's stay tuned as we follow George and Clark outside as they clear the snow from Mr. Hanson's front walk and driveway.
Ow. Whew. Well, that's the last of it. Let's go talk to Mr. Hanson. He's not answering. Why don't you knock too, Clark? If he's in the back, he might not have heard the buzzer.
Okay, Dad.
Hey now! No need to break my door down. Oh, it's you, Clark. Mary... Oh, rats, not again. This infernal hearing aid is a useless device.
Holy cow, that was some major feedback. Hearing aids. Well, that explains a lot. A man's halfway deaf.
They need fixing.
Yep.
They sure do, Mr. Hanson. With your permission, sir, I can fix those.
That'd be a real blessing. But I can't pay much, and it's a bother at Christmas.
No. It's not a bother. I'm a tinkerer of sorts. I love to fix things, and I have the tools at home. The only payment I'd ask is that you come and join us for Christmas dinner.
Again, an imposition.
No, you'd be doing us a favor. You've been a godsend for our son. Clark loves your company, and we love having a full setting of places at our table. Plus, having you over would make the holidays more festive, and besides, you know what they say, the more the merrier. Speaking of merrier, my wife Mary wouldn't be very merry if you don't accept our invitation to dinner. She insists that you join us.
Well, if you're going to insist.
I do insist. And as soon as you're ready, Clark brought you over those cookies he promised to save for you.
Can't say no to those, all righty. I have to eat lunch and do a couple of things, and then I'll get cleaned up and head over about 5 tonight.
All right, Mr. Hanson. You'll love my mom's cooking, although I'm afraid it's turkey dinner and not salmon.
I believe I can gobble up turkey just fine.
A pun. He's definitely one of us.
See you in a while, Mr. Hanson.
We're sure looking forward to having you over for dinner tonight, Mr. Hanson.
Please, George, call me Gil.
Mom, we're home. Mr. Hanson said he will be coming over around 5 tonight. I'm gonna go upstairs and get ready.
So he's actually coming over. My goodness.
Yes, and he was very pleased to be asked. And you know, Mary, I'm certain the reason he hasn't talked or socialized much with us is because he can't hear worth a darn. His hearing aids aren't working right, and he doesn't have the money to get new ones.
Oh, the poor man. Could you?
Already on it, dear. He'll be hearing just fine by the time the turkey's done.
Oh no! The turkey! I have to get it in the oven.
George, you're a miracle worker. I've not heard this well in, over a year.
It was my pleasure, Gil. Now they should be good for another 2 years.
Plenty of time to save for new ones. Sorry, throat is a bit dry from all the talking I've been doing.
Here, have some more cider. Thank you for your help with the turkey, Gil. That bird was half frozen and too big to fit in the microwave. And wouldn't have gotten done otherwise.
The blowtorch method of defrosting was my wife's secret for handling turkey emergencies. Well, she'd be fine with you knowing it. It smells really good in your kitchen, just the way hers used to.
Oh, that's the nicest compliment you could give me, Gil. I'd love to hear more about her.
Well, now, that's the nicest thing you could say to me. Most folks avoid asking about the deceased like they never existed.
Not in this house. We never got to meet, and I would like to get to know her.
Oh, yes, Gil. Please tell us more about your wife.
I would love that. Maybe a bit later.
Mom, the timer on the stove just went off.
Dinner's almost ready, everyone. Clark, you show Gil to his seat. George, would you please help me bring the other dishes to the table?
With pleasure, my dear.
your chair, Mr. Hanson.
Thanks, Clark. You and your folks are good people. I don't know. Oh, tarnation! That gave me a start. Are you expecting company?
Nope, I can't think who that could be.
Clark, would you mind seeing who that is?
Sure, Mom. Hold on, I'm coming. Hi, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. My name is Jonathan Hanson. My wife and daughter are in the car there in your driveway. I really apologize for bothering you on Christmas Eve, but we just got into town and we were wondering if you're acquainted with Gil Hanson?
Yep, he's our next door neighbor. You said Hanson? Are you related?
Yeah, he's my dad. Yeah, I was able to get us a fantastic deal on a flight this morning, so we thought we'd surprise him for Christmas, but we're the ones who are surprised. He doesn't seem to be home. The place is locked up and we can't find a key to get in. I hope nothing happened.
He's fine. He's here having supper with us.
Really? Great. I don't want to take up too much of your time then, but maybe if I could talk to my dad real quick and your father and...
Oh, you gotta come in. Could you get your family and stand here while I get your dad? And then yell Merry Christmas when he comes to the door. It would be a great surprise.
I like your style, kid.
Thanks. I'll be right back. Go ahead, Mr. Hanson. Open the door.
Lord Almighty, is that?
Merry Christmas!
Wait, why is Gil crying?
It's Mr. Hanson's son and his family.
Oh, this is just wonderful. Wonderful. All right, they need to join us. We have plenty of food. Invite them in, George. They'll join us for supper. I'll go get 3 more places set at the table.
Come on in, folks. Supper's ready.
Oh, bless you. I won't even pretend to politely decline. We're travel-weary and starving. I'm Martha Hanson. By the way, this is my husband, Jonathan, who is Gil's son, and here's our daughter and Gil's granddaughter, Chloe.
Oh, it's great to meet all of you. I'm George Henderson. You've met my son, Clark, and my wife, Mary, is in the kitchen. Please, come in out of the cold. Come on, let me take your coats.
George, I can't thank you enough for your kindness.
Oh, no need to thank us. It's our pleasure to have you all here and safe for Christmas dinner.
Which way is the kitchen? I'd love to help Mary.
Straight and to your right. Chloe, this is Clark. Clark, you gonna say hi to Chloe?
Hi, Chloe. Clark. Like after that boy who grows up on Smallville, only to later become Superman? Yes, actually, but wait a minute. That's so cool, Clark. And yep, I know what you're thinking. I'm named for Chloe on that show, too. That's so awesome. I mean, that's cool.
Let's all go into the living room until everything is set up to eat.
Oh, is that darling bear on the sofa yours, Clark? I just love him.
Clark, I thought Mr. Bear was in your room.
He was. I left him in there to nap.
I see.
I think he wanted to see my wish coming true.
Your wish?
Yes, I can say it now. It's come true.
Clark, I've never been prouder of you than I am right now.
Thanks, Dad.
Clark! George! Jonathan just told me he put in for a transfer and it went through. They're going to be moving back to the neighborhood. Yippee! Woohoo!
All right.
That's great. Oh, what's up, Chloe? You look a bit sad.
I love Grandpa, but I wasn't happy about leaving my friends. I don't want to be selfish, but I just moved here this year. It's tough at first, but you'll be okay, Chloe. If you say so, Clark, it must be true. Oh, sorry, I took over your teddy bear. Do you want him back? Nah, it's okay. You hold him for now. Does he have a name? His name is Clarence. Mr. Clarence Bear. That's an unusual name. It's a special name. It's the angel's name from It's a Wonderful Life. Oh, I think Clarence likes it. He just smiled at me. I mean, I could swear he smiled at me. Oh, I believe you, Chloe. Like I said, he's a very special bear.
All right, everybody. Dinner is served.
So closes the final chapter in our Christmas tale, which also marks the start of some very true and lasting friendships. Clark's selfless wish brought not only Mr. Hanson happiness, but it brought Clark happiness as well. It just goes to show you that the true power behind a Christmas wish is in the belief and love we have for one another during the holiday season. This is Jasper Weatherby, wishing you a very Merry Christmas.
Lanterns lighting up the town. Peace on earth is all around. Everything is calm on Christmas Eve. There's goodwill in the air tonight. Angels sing by candlelight. Their voices carried on the wind. When carol singers gather round, when I hear that festive sound, I wanna join with them and sing. They sing a merry song, and we all sing along. A festive melody that tells us Christmas time is here. See the stars tonight, they're shining bright, 'cause it's Christmas time, and it's my favorite time of year.
Hey everyone, this is Trenton Larkin, the creator and host of Who Did That Voice, saying thank you so very much for stopping by today to listen to our first annual Christmas special. I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did creating this for you. The holidays have always been my favorite, and radio dramas have been something I grew up loving. So I took two of my absolute favorite things and created something special for you this holiday season. Because Christmas time is my favorite time of year. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Today's presentation of The Christmas Wish is an original production brought to you by Who Did That Voice. Today's show was directed, edited, and written in part by Trenton Larkin. It was also written in part by Lynne and Autumn Beireis. Sound engineering by Cliff Zellman. Starring in order of appearance, Rob Reed as the narrator, Phil Lollar as George, Leah McCormick as Mary, Charlie Powell II as Clark, Rick Sellers as Mr. Hanson, Garrett Vandenberg as Mr. Bear, Michael Greco as Jonathan Hanson, Prentice Osborne as Martha Hanson, and Caitlyn Powell as Chloe Hanson. Special thanks to the Florence Street Band for allowing us to use their song, My Favorite Time of Year. Merry Christmas, and thank you for listening.